Hello, hello, my name is Richity, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Create Academy server. Now, between episodes, I did do a little bit of building work. I tried to build like a path here to see kind of what I wanted this area to look like. I didn't get it all the way done, as you can see, but I think I'm liking the way it's gone. And then I also did a little bit of terraforming on the edges, where I just kind of brought the grass down and had it droop over a little bit, and then I textured the walls as well. And then over there, I laid out where I planned to put the big chocolate factory, and I also added these little this little rim on the center, and I dug out the plan for the big, like, mining shaft in the center. And then, anyway, the plan for this episode, I made some notes for myself so I wouldn't forget, and we're going to start with quests, like I wrote down right here. So, let's do just that. So, next up on quests is... Oh, right, yes. As I took apart my mining machine, I did get the quest for the mechanical drill. But anyway, I guess I'll just start from the left side. So I'll make a windmill bearing first, which pretty easy craft. Craft slabs first, of course. That's that, and windmill bearing. I don't actually plan on using this right now, so it's just gonna go in the chest. Alright, next up, he wants me to craft one of each chassis, which are pretty easy. You got the linear chassis, the secondary linear chassis, which is just you take one of these, put it in. These won't like connect to each other. Next up, you have the radial chassis, which will, if you put like, well, basically what these chassis do is that they allow for easier connection without glue, but glue allows you to use any block you want, and it's generally more easier to understand, so I just like to use glue instead. Anyway, got 2 cog points from that, and there's actually a quest for glue, which we already crafted. Alright. And then it also looks like there's a quest for the mechanical bearing, which, again, we already crafted. Next up, there's a quest for 32 sails, which actually I'm gonna wait on because I don't have any wool for it. So I don't really feel like going to find sheep right now, so we're gonna wait on that. Next up, I'll do this one. I just need, I guess, 2 more regular gearboxes for it. It just so happens to be like all the cogwheels I have left. No, it seems I need to craft 5 of them. Quest is complete. Next is the clutch, which is pretty easy, although gonna need a few more andesite casings for it. So we'll just do a 3x3 by 3 to keep with them. So the clutch, what it does is if you give it a redstone signal, then it'll stop any rotational power going through it. So you can use it to like turn off rotational devices. Like if I put a clutch, like let's say if I put a clutch right here and I gave it a redstone signal, then all of the rotational power going this way would be stopped. Alright, and then next up, looks like a gear shift. Gear shifts are similar, except when you give it a redstone signal, it will reverse any rotational power going through it. Next up would be the mechanical belts, which I should have plenty of dried kelp, and I'm probably not going to really use it for anything else, so I'll just craft 8 of it, actually. That's perfect. Just as many as I needed. Alright, next up is the andesite tunnels, which I've already got some. Next up is the chute. The chute, basically, if you put an item into it, it'll just drop out. And yeah, pretty easy crafting recipe, and it gives you quite a few. Next is the weighted ejector. Pretty useful machine. If you put an item onto it, and if you give it rotational power, then it will like launch the item to where you designate it. Which I guess is kind of hard to explain, so I'm going to show you. Basically, when you're placing it down, you can shift and right click to select a target, and then you can place this down. So now it's facing the target, and if I gave it rotational force, then whenever an item is placed onto it, it'll just launch the item. So I guess I could just place it right there. As you can see, it's getting rotational force. Throw that on. And it gets launched. I really like these things. Though, I don't actually use them that much. Alright, next I guess would be portable drill, which we already looked at and we can't craft it yet. Then next is the blaze burner, which is something I really need to get, but unfortunately I need to get to the nether first, which I likely will do this episode, but we're not doing that yet. We're going to complete some more quests first. Next is the grappling whisk, which requires mechanical crafters, which I don't have yet. And then it's the fluid pipes, which I actually can craft right now, because all it needs... Let me just put some stuff away first. Anyway, all it needs is some copper. So I'm actually going to take, like, a good amount of this and just press it all down. Oh, and as you can see, I also sped this thing up a bit. I just added more large cogwheels in order to speed it up. Alright, I'm going to just take these, and I put them together with some copper ingots, and I get fluid pipes. And there are a few different types of fluid pipes. There's the fluid valve, which takes one fluid pipe and an iron sheet. If you give this thing a little bit of rotational power on the side, then it'll either close or open. I think it depends on the direction of the rotation. Next is this valve handle, which actually I guess I shouldn't have used all my copper sheets because I need a few more of those. The valve I think works basically like the hand crank, but I think it gives more stress capacity but less speed. Could be remembering that wrong though, it might just be decorative. Yeah, so... Oh, no, when you right click it, it'll rotate a certain amount of, like, degrees, which is pretty nice. Because you could use that to, like, activate and deactivate a fluid valve. Next is the cog pipe, or the mechanical pump, rather. This is, like, very useful as you can't transport liquid without it. Next up, it wants fluid tank, which just is a barrel and some copper sheets. So I guess I need to craft a couple more copper sheets. Anyway, so it's just 2 copper sheets, and then you get the fluid tank. Alright. Next up, there's the portable fluid interface, which requires a copper casing, which I think is made in, yep, the exact same way. You just take some copper ingots, take a oak log, or any log, strip it, and now you got your copper casing. Just wants that and a chute, which I did craft chutes earlier for that quest. Which actually reminds me, I remembered seeing something down here. I completely missed 2 things. I'll get back to those later. But basically, if you put this on like a train or something, or anything moving, and you put one that's stationary, then when the moving thing passes the one that's stationary, they'll both connect, and it will either input or output the fluid from in the train. Next up, you have the hose pulley, which is very useful for filling up large areas of like liquid. Like if you wanted to fill a big area with lava for an infinite lava source, then you could do that. I guess something I didn't mention is that any area with at least 10,000 blocks of a liquid is considered infinite with the hose pulley, which is pretty useful. Anyway, I'm just smelting up some kelp to get the dried kelp block that I need for it. Another pretty easy craft. Next up is the item drain, which is just 1 copper casing and an iron bar. There it is. What this does is it allows you to empty buckets or anything with liquid into it. There's also this, which is part of Create Enchantment Industry. I'll get to that after I get to the spout, which another useful, or pretty much required thing when it comes to liquid manipulation. Basically, if you fill it with a liquid and then put something that can be like filled, like a bucket, if you fill the spout with water and then put the bucket underneath it, then it'll fill the bucket with water. And then there's a few more things that I think are gonna have to wait till later because they're a bit more complicated, I think, yeah. So I'll leave those till later. Next is this, which is pretty easy, but I don't feel like getting sandpaper right now, so I'll also get into that later. Next up is the portable storage interface, which does the same thing as the portable fluid interface, except with items. Another pretty useful piece of machinery for create-powered farms, which I should be making some soon, probably in the next episode. I'll start with that. Alright, now it wants me to make a few things. I'll make this cuckoo clock first, which I think... I'm going to be honest, actually, I don't know what this does. But I think you can give it rotation of power and it basically just act like a clock. So it's not very interesting. But it's a quest, so I'm going to complete it. And this is a clockwork bearing, which is like, you can create big clocks with it. But this will also wait till later, because I don't feel like doing that right now. The rope pulley requires wool, which I guess I don't feel like going to find sheep, so I'm just going to use this string to craft wool, which, you know, it's kind of unusual that you have, like, any reason to do that. Basically what this does is if you give it rotational power, it'll either, you can connect it to a contraption and it'll either lift it up or lower it down. Next is the vaults, which I already crafted for my previous machine, like the mining contraption. Oh, I don't get a reward for that. This is a storage terminal, which is a bit later on. I think this allows you to like connect all your chests into one thing, and you can just activate, you can just like access the storage terminal to get to anything in your storage. Next up is a package. I actually don't know what this is, but I've got to clear out some inventory space first. So, I'll collect that quest. It also wants me to get a stamp, which requires ink sacs and paper, which I don't have yet, so I'm going to do that later. But I wonder if I can, like, can I put something in it? Yeah, okay, I guess you just put some stuff in it, and then you can, like, mail it out to other players. Cool, I guess, but I'm probably never going to use it. Oh. Yeah, so I guess you could even use it as, like, a mini shulker box. Because I guess they, keep their inventory when you break them. Alright, next up would be the contraption controls, which electron tube is a bit later on, so I'm not going to do that right now. But anyway, from that, I've gotten 5 cog boxes. So I guess we'll open those up right now and see what they get me. Oh, and eventually, I should mention, there are these 2 other quest books. I'm going to get to those eventually, but I don't have amethyst for the spyglass, and I don't really have much reason to cook right now, so I'm going to wait for that as well. But anyway, let's claim these cog boxes and see what's in them. But first, I'm going to empty my inventory a bit. And let's see what these get me. There's not a travel totem, so I could travel to a random area. I actually used one of these at the beginning, but I didn't show it because the beginning was not that interesting. Alright, then I think that was just some coins. Didn't give me a pop-up. Actually, I've got chat turned off. I'm gonna turn it back on right now to see how much coins I got. Okay. Ooh, 3 shines. Those are pretty rare, I think. They're used for like premium stuff. And another travel totem. Yeah, pretty good overall, I guess. Not really anything of use to me right now. I guess the coins are nice, so I can buy stuff from the shops in the spawn area, which I did forget to show that in the last episode, me enchanting my tools and getting that chocolate I had last episode. But I will go there today if I need to like fix either of these. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's it for now. I think now it's time, finally, to enter the nether. Guys, I'm waiting on like a lot of brass stuff I need right now, like I think these all, well, not all of them, but yeah, mechanical crafting. This requires a blaze burner for the steam engine. This I have no use for right now. This is brass. This is just the thing I need to make brass. So I guess what I'll do is I've got my wood. I'll bring the 4 iron sheets so that when I get to the nether, I can gather some netherrack and then craft the blaze burner. And then I can find the nearest fortress and grab a blaze. Anyway, I remember there was a pool of lava up here, so I'm just gonna grab my obsidian from this, and then get right into the nether. That should be all I need for the nether portal. I don't think I need to craft anything with the obsidian, so I'll just leave it at that. And I'm thinking the nether portal is something I'm going to want to put in one of my rooms, but I think it'll look really nice in whatever room I put... there's this, like, foundry thing, which can do some stuff with, like, ores. Yeah, you can, like, melt some stones into, like, molten copper, iron, and stuff like that. Which I think is pretty cool, so yeah. I'll probably be using that eventually, but I think that'll, since that is like all about like lava and stuff, and like molten materials, I think that'll look really cool in the nether portal room. But for now, I'm just gonna put this, like, I'm gonna put it down here. Yeah, look at this. Perfect spot for it. Oh, and I forgot to grab the flint and steel. Well, while I'm here, I guess it would be a good idea to craft at least a little bit of armor. I'll just craft a chest plate for now, because I'm going to need iron for a lot of other stuff. Iron will probably be the first thing that I decide to automate, because it's just so useful to have a lot of. Anyway, let's see where we end up in the nether. Could not have been any more perfect. Right on top of a nether fortress. Like, this has never happened, I don't think, to me before. Exactly what we need. We need the, we need a blaze for the blaze burner, and we just happen to be exactly where blazes are found. You know, it has just occurred to me, it probably would have been a good idea to get something better than a stone sword. I think there's loot in here. Oh, of course. Oh, I might actually die here. Yep, okay. Good thing I'm right next to the portal. That would have been worse if I wasn't. If there he is. Bucket of Mohawk. That sounds like fun. Of course, another gold chest plate. What is this thing? Oh, it's just like a little guy. He's definitely coming home with me. Ooh, diamonds. That's nice. Alright, and I'm not sure I want to fight blazes right now, so I'm just gonna grab one and get out of here. And of course it's nighttime. I need to light this place up eventually. Anyway, now that we've got this blaze burner, we can finally start making brass. You can just go right underneath this basin here, and then if I grab some coal, and I need zinc, and I want a full stack of copper. Alright, now I've got a full stack of each. So, I just throw both of these in here, and then I feed some coal to the blaze burner. So, if I look at the recipe here, you can see in mixing, heated mixing of copper and zinc will get you 2 brass ingots. It's the same like ingot to ingot ratio, like 1 ingot of each gets you 2 brass ingots. So 2 ingots to 2 ingots. But yeah, it's going pretty quickly, and as you can see it's going up 2 ingots at a time. So 1 stack of each will get me 2 stacks of brass ingots, which should be good for a while. And with this, I think I'm going to set up mechanical crafters first, because mechanical crafters are pretty cool, because they can not only automatically craft things if you want to do that, but they can also craft some things that aren't available normally. Like the crafting terminal I talked about earlier, the foundry, grappling whisk, a flamethrower apparently, I didn't even know about that one. Like a lot of things that I've never even heard of. And yeah, I mean, crafts a lot of nice stuff. Oh, it's finished with a stack. So I'll just take half a stack of each. Now I've got a stack of brass ingots, so I'll just have to, actually, I think I completed a few quests from that. So first of all, we got the quest for getting a blaze burner. Next up, we get the brass age quest for getting brass ingots. There's a quest here that also asks you to craft a wrench, which, as you know, I already did, so There we go. Oh, for the engineer's goggles, which I got. I guess it needs to be in my inventory. Yep. It also wants me to craft the brass exoskeleton, which is a bit complicated. I'm gonna do that later. The deployer is gonna be needed for actually quite a bit. Like with it, there are these like sequenced crafting recipes, which I guess it does not show here. But all the mechanisms that you've been seeing in these in all those crafting recipes all require the deployer. It wants me to craft a brass casing, which is, as usual, made by stripping a log and just applying the brass ingot to it. I'm going to craft a few of these because they're not used quite as much as the andesite casings, but they're still used a decent amount, so I want quite a few. That's another quest. And these other things... Oh, right, the mechanical crafter. So, fortunately, I need electron tubes, which are kind of annoying to craft, but there should be something in this that makes it a bit nicer, that being the belt sander, or the belt grinder. You just take sandpaper, andesite casing, and a shaft, and you get the belt grinder, which I think it's slower than just using sandpaper, but you don't need to craft a ton of sandpaper, which is really nice. And anyway, the reason I say that is because in order to get polished rose quartz, which we need for the electron tubes, we need to polish rose quartz. And you get rose quartz from nether quartz and redstone dust, which I actually do not have a whole lot of redstone dust, which means either another mining trip or I wait. I really don't feel like doing another mining trip right now. But I might have to. Oh, wait. Right, you get... This... no, that would still require another mining trip. Alright, let's see. How many do we actually need, first of all? So, in order to fill this space, I would need 9 mechanical crafters and then 12 on the outside, so 21 mechanical crafters, which means I would need 7 pieces of rose quartz, which I have just enough redstone for, which is perfect. Okay, in that case, I'll just go to the nether, get 7 pieces of quartz, I'll find some sugarcane to get some paper, and then I'll craft the belt grinder. So I have just remembered I don't actually have a pickaxe that is not silk touch, so I think now would be a great time to show you the enchanting shop that I was using. So I'm just gonna craft up a quick, I'll just make an iron. It's actually really cheap enchanting, so I don't mind if it doesn't last very long. So anyway, I'm gonna teleport back to spawn. That just teleports me back like that. And then this way is the way to the commercial zone. So the commercial zone is where all of the members of this server have been building shops. And it's, I mean, the entrance is not anything particularly amazing. I mean, this is a nice building. Like, it's pretty empty otherwise. But anyway, if you just go up this way, and then off in this direction, climb up here, down this way. There are a lot of shops here. Like, yeah, they sell a lot of cool things. I have yet to see all of them, but the one we're looking for is this nice little building with some blocks of experience that you can get from, like, crushing things. And yep, this is the building. It's got this nice design on top, which I don't actually know what it is, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, you can see they've got, like, their stock meter with how much, I think it's millibuckets of enchanting juice that they have. And then you can, like, look around here. You just want to look for the one with the pickaxe on it. I think this one gives you, like, efficiency 5, and then this one's silk touch, and that means this one will be the fortune 3. So you just throw it on the front, click buy. But I've got plenty of money, so not really any big deal. And then this little blaze burner under here, he's enchanting the item for me. So, in just a quick second, once he's done enchanting it, it'll pop out. Yep. And now, fortune 3. So now if I go back home, which that command works if you do the /set home command, which I've done right in here. So, now that I got fortune 3, I'll just mine these and get way more nether quartz than I usually would. 18 nether quartz, more than enough. I will also need 7 iron ingots. Good thing I didn't use it all to craft armor. Or, I mean, 7 iron sheets is what I'll need. And then I need redstone, and I have just remembered. Forgot to find the paper in the sand. So excuse me for a second while I do that. Right? And ideally, I should be able to just pop it right there. And it's just enough to overstress everything. Okay, in that case, I'll craft one. Oh, I actually have a large water wheel for some reason. I'll just put it down here. Oh, right, now that it's running, you should be able to just throw these onto there. Yep, and actually, that's really quick. I didn't know it was so fast. But it did nothing. Oh, it requires a low speed. That's interesting. So, I'm just gonna set up a quick temporary, speed slowing downer thing. So, like, in the same way that if you have a large cogwheel going to a small one, if you have a small one going to a large one, then it'll slow it down. So now it's at slow speed. Just throw that on, and it should, yep, polished it up. Alright, so now if I grab my brass casing, I think I need crafting tables for it as well. So I'll just grab 7 crafting tables. As you can see, it crafts the mechanical crafters. So I just put all that in. Now I've got 21 mechanical crafters. So just put them all together right here. And actually, first I need to direct some power towards it. So give me 1 second. Now that I've got this thing finally up and running, I need to actually get these things to connect. So I'm going to have the output be down here. And you can do this in like whatever way you want. I'll just have, I don't actually know how to explain this, but basically, whenever you put something in, like all of these that are connected, it'll like push it together into its crafting recipe. So basically, if I wanted to craft, let's say I wanted to craft like chest. I would want to place 1 oak log in each of these, and then another thing is these brass slot covers. As you can see, it's not doing anything now. That's because all these slots are open. So if you just fill in all the slots, let's craft a water wheel. I don't feel like crafting 1 more slot cover. Okay, so you place the shaft in the middle, and then you just watch it work. Goes down there, and water wheel. Pretty simple, easy to use. And the reason I make it this big is so that I can craft all the big recipes. This size is big enough for, I think, just about anything. Anyway, I think, do I have a quest complete? Yep, I got the electron tube one and the mechanical crafter quest, which I think gets me, yep, I've got 3 cog boxes to open up. So let's see what we get. Coins? That's a lot of money. More coins. And bounty amulet. Double the content of your next cog box who contains coins or shine. It's pretty neat. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Finally got my brass up and running. I got a lot of quests done that I've been meaning to do. And, I mean, in between episodes, I also got the, some of the building done. Maybe I'll do all the building in between episodes. So I'm thinking of making this like a storefront, or I'm gonna give it like some, I'll decorate it, is what I'm saying. I'll decorate this thing so that it looks nice and it's not just a cave. And I'll probably make the path. And I'll do that all between the episodes, and I'll try to make like a before and after of the entire pit before I've done it, and then afterwards. Anyway, that does it for me for this time. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!